Hey campers, George here, back in the man cave. Got me some wood, got me some cutters. Time to make a handle. Tiger wood, allegedly. Let's check it out. This came in the mail, quick mail call, just when you thought you were going to see a knife, right? And this one is from Billy and Annette Silvers. Silvers? Yeah, Silvers. That's him. Says thank you. Thanks for being a part of the knife community. Tell Mary and Keith I said hi. Wonderful family and friends. George, hope this finds you well. Love your YouTube channel and its contents. I'm still working on the shed. Tell you about that. Hopefully sometime in the future maybe start some shorts on YouTube. Here is a couple of stickers created for my first start. Maybe you could send me a sticker of yours. God bless, Billy. Sure, Billy, I'll get one off to you. Even drew a cool knife. Looks like a case elephant toe, right? And he's talking about the shed. Here's his sticker. See that? Shedworks Cutlery. Knives and leather. Very cool, right? Very cool sticker. Let's put it up on the wall of shame. There you go. Billy, you don't want to change that sticker. I like that. That's very, very cool. He sent me two. Look at that. They're very cool. Got the flag in the background. Nice. Let's check out these knives. So you know me, when I go antique shopping, I never look for a perfect knife. And there's a lot out there. Like this one. Look at that. Doesn't even have a handle on it. Same with this one. But this one, close to the heart, Camelus. Very cool. It says Camelus, New York, USA. Here's the info. It's a little 3-blade cattleman, no, whatever they call it these days. You see that? Blades are in good nick. No handle. It had a handle once, and I think it was bone. Look at that. That's a pity. But we're going to replace that handle. Allegedly. And then we have this guy. Yep. One of my favorite styles of knife. If you're a working class blue collar dude, these are the knives you need as a work EDC. Yep. Electrician. Look at that. Very cool, right? Look at that. Blade's still in fairly good shape. You can see it's been cleaned up. I don't know why they tend to sharpen these things. They don't need to be sharp. They just need to be able to cut into the insulation. You know, that's really what it's for. You cut around and then strip off the insulation, putting it on there and strip it. And then it has that spear point blade, typically with a little bit bigger belly. Obviously this knife's been used, so it's been, you know, they tend to use the belly part to do all the cutting, so that's where they sharpen. But as you can see, in good shape. Let's see if that stop works. Yep, it's got that brass liner lock like they all do, but no handle. A while ago Keith gave me 4 of these, and they are Tiger Stripe, I think it's called. Very cool wood. Has a really good look to it. And I think I want to try. I marked it out already. And I want to try the super glue thing again. The thing I did last time was I wasn't paying attention, and I actually bought the gel super glue. So you physically had to spread it, and that caused a problem because I got an uneven surface. So, sorry, got a phone call from the doctor's office. Got my annual let's see if you're okay checkup from cardiology. My favorite doctor, well, she's a PA. She's a really nice lady. Anywho, I got this super glue. I believe it dries clear, but it is liquid. Maybe that'll work better. When I put it on, it'll smooth itself out. We're about to find out. These two guys are getting new handles. Got to cut these up, get them into the rough shape, get them on you, right? And then clean up the knives and get them all sharp and shiny. Let's have at it. So as you can see how thick these pieces of wood are, I'm going to have to file them down, and especially in the front here, to get down to match the bolster here, because you want it to a smooth transition. So I'm going to file these down a bit so that they are a lot closer, so then once I have them off, we can finish it off. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is make sure that this is actually clear. So if I put it on here, yeah, look at that, it smooths out itself with the liquid. So I'm just going to put this on here and let's let it dry and see if it dries clear. I'm just going to do half. I like the way that locks. Alright, let's wait and see. So while we wait for this to dry, look at this, because I'm trying to decide if I want to take the knife apart, because I want to use that pin and that pin to hold the handle on. It's going to be glued on, but that'll give it extra power. To line these holes up, you need access through here to line them up. So I've got to take those two pins out. Well, let's do that and then decide if we want to take all the pins out. I'm seeing a problem here. Let me show you. Look at the size of that pin. See there, there, how big that is. Ugh. Gonna do this side. I got a funny feeling. I'm gonna use my little Dremel, safety glasses. Starting to come out. I just don't want to beat it too hard. It is barely moving and I've bent the liner. Okay, so I decided I wanted to take it apart for two reasons. One, I needed access to these holes on the liners to mark the wood. So I can mark the holes, drill the holes, and then put this, put this on here, actually glue it on and drill through for the holes. It'll just be easier to do it that way. The other reason is cleaning up a knife when you take it all apart like this is the best way to do it. Now, we were going to leave one pin, but it still doesn't give you access to here and here and a look at the, make sure the springs are good and things like that. So taking it totally apart, you can have a look to see if the spring's worn at all, anything like that, any cracks in the spring, because you don't want to put a bad spring back in. So here we are now. I'm going to give it a general all over clean to about 1,000 grit. 600 first and then 1,000 just to clean it up. And then we'll put the handles on, glue them on, drill them, and then we'll put it all back together and then shape the handles and everything. And I do believe I forgot to tell you, this is Klein & Sons Chicago, made in the USA. Woot. So there you go. Let's clean this quickly, but before we do it, let's see how our glue's doing. So the first coat dried, and I decided to put a second coat on because when I start cleaning it up, I want to make sure that I'm not going to go back into the wood. So I wanted to try 2 coats. It's not quite dry enough yet. It takes a little bit longer, but you can see it has a natural shine there, and we should be able to smooth that up really nice and shine it. I'm going to let it dry a little bit more. Seems to be that it's going to work. So let's clean up the knife. So I've got some 5 to 600 grit foam back here, and I'm going to go over everything to get rid of the rough stuff, the rough, obvious rust and things like that. Very quickly, you don't want to take too much metal off. This is a just first go at it. Then when I'm done with that, we'll go to 1,000 and just finish cleaning it up, and then we'll put it all back together, hopefully. So here goes. We'll start with this one. Now this is basically a liner with the bolster support right there. I'm just going to roughly clean these up. Just give them a quick clean. The only reason is on the inside, which is this side, you want to make it shine because people can see into the well. So that's one of the reasons you do here. Not so much this side, but I want to get rid of any rust buildup because this is where I'm gluing. Main parts are the edges here. That's what everybody sees. So that's how you'd concentrate on there. And basically the same thing for your springs. This is the inside of the well. You want to make that shine. And on the spine of the spring, same thing again. You want to make that shine. You just want to clean these off. They're a little rough. And what it'll do is it'll give it a little bit more ease on the movement of the spring. And we'll just go. And then obviously the blades and everything, we'll do everything 600 and then 1,000. One other thing I want to show you, this is actually a pretty good example. If you look at this, can you see this line along here? This is actually not flat. It actually has been bent like that. The reason is that when you put it all together, it helps keep this straight. It gives it more support. It's not going to flex as much because of that bend. Especially obvious when you're doing clamshell handles. Because there's no real support when you put the clamshell on. It just clips on. There's nothing here. This will keep it tight and stop gaps forming. So you can see, hopefully you can see what I'm talking about there. You can see the line where they bent it. See that? Always keep that on mind, because why? It has to be on the sorry, the bend out must be on the inside, and then where it's bent in this way is on the outside. So here we go with the 600. Just, you don't have to press hard, you just need to be consistent, and you just want to give it a cleaner. So there's a very quick cleanup. This is the side that is going to have the handle glued onto it. This side I want shiny. And you can see it doesn't take a lot. Now I'm going to do the edges. Some really bad scratch marks on here. On this one. See the scratch marks? They're pretty deep. You don't want to try and get rid of, or you're going to take too much metal off. You just want to reduce them. Gives it character. It is a working knife. And that's my excuse. I'm sticking to it. So there's a quick go at it with the 600 all over. Going to go through them all. So there they are, all nice and initial shine. Now I'm going to go through the whole process again with 1000. It'll just give a smoother, a more obvious shine. You won't really see a big difference until we go to from here to 7000, then to a polishing compound. And here you can see the 1000. Okay, so here we have it all done to 1000. I'm not having any success with this. It feels smooth. I'll put some on the other side, and I'm not sure if I like the result. But I'm going to let it sit a little longer. In the meantime, I want to mount these and get them ready and mounted. So I'm going to glue them on, and then tomorrow morning, when I know it is dried enough, we will use these holes as guides on the Dremel to drill the holes for the pins. Morning campers. As you can see, did a little bit of work last night and we have the basic shape. We got it pinned on the handles and I started to shape it. Now I'm going to pin the rest of it and start to shape the handle a little bit better. Just going to round everything off. It'll make it a little bit more comfortable. I really like this wood, just need to clean it up. So we're going to shape a lot and then we'll start sanding it down and hopefully it'll be all good. Now I put the, if you look here, I kind of messed up with this test. Now what I did here is you can see this dark area here is where I put super glue. Now I originally put one coat on, let it dry, and then put another coat on, and I put a little bit too much on. And I had to go and do some stuff, and when I came back after a couple of hours, I started to sand it, and it hadn't dried. And you can see what happened there. Okay. I like the feel of this, but it's not working for me, and I really don't know what I'm doing wrong. So I went back to what I used to do, and here you can see it here. Okay, this is it not covered, and this is it covered, and it really brings out this, and it's acrylic spray, and this is one coat. Now I normally put two coats on. I'll spray it, let it dry, fine sand it, and spray it again, and it really smooths out. So I'm going to stick with this, I think. So you can see there's still a lot of wood here. The plane here, it's still fairly flat. Now I got to get rid of these, what I call sharp edges. They're not really sharp. I've rounded them off. But it gets pretty wide here, and I want to round it off a little bit more and give it more round on it. But before I do that, I pinned these two, you saw that. Now when I file everything down, I'm going to be filing the pins as I go. So I'm going to have to keep tapping them to make sure that they're going to hold. I'm going to just pin this quickly and get it pinned and make sure everything is going to work. Once I know everything is working, we'll finish up the handle.
So there we are. That's at 80. Now we're going to go down to 1000 on the handle. So I've got me some 1000. Smooth this guy up. So here we are here. Gone over it with 1000. So now I'm going to tape it up and I'm going to spray acrylic on here. Okay. So now I'm going to give it one coat. A very light coat. Let it dry. Put another coat on and then sand.
So while the big guy dries, I'm going to work on this guy, and I can tell the blades are sharp on this thing. I like this little camelus, it's very nice, and of course the price was perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean him up, and just like I did on the big guy, and I trimmed these down for the handles. So now I got to really reduce these. They're just way too thick. Okay. So I'm going to go to the South 40 shed, put these in a vise and clean them off. Bring them down a lot thinner. And then we'll glue it on, shape it, and all that good stuff. First of all, I'll clean this guy up, and then we'll do that. Now I'm not gonna show you because you've seen it all. It'll just make the video too long. So I'll do that and I'll show you where we are when we're ready to put these on. So I marked these. You can see I actually filed them down so that they're thinner. And then to mark the holes, all I did was got them to the right size, put them on there, used the pin, and then drilled the holes. So and allegedly the pin should line them up. You can see I put the pin through. It's a little crooked, but there you go. There's a lot of play in that pin. Wanted to get the holes lined up. So now I'm going to glue it and pin it. There's just going to be one pin in because these actually are against the bolsters. It can't move, so that'll help it. So that's what we're going to do now. I've got to squeeze these springs in so I can get the pin in. So I'm going to squeeze them together to line the hole up all the way through. And get the pin material in there. Like that. Release it. It's tight again. So here I'm just gluing it. These are holding in place so nothing moves. We have the pin in and we're going to let that set. Let's see how we're doing with the big guy. Okay, so here's the big guy, and I've got some 7000 here. Now you can see I've been filing metal. Don't use the same because this stuff will heat up and begin to get soft. You're going to transfer that metal onto there. Start with a clean piece. Learned my lesson. Right there. See that? So here we go. Just lightly rubbing it. Let's see what it looks like. It's got a pretty good shine. I think I want to put another coat on, but I'm going to leave it like this, and we're going to go ahead and clean up the rest of the knife. So that's what we'll do next, hopefully. Nope, decided to put another coat on right now. Don't want to unpeel all this stuff and then have to do it again. And this is something, when this happens, I know I need to step away from the project because I'm indecisive. I'm going to spray that on and let that dry as well. I think I'll go fish for an hour. Okay, so here we are. Here is the big guy. And this is 3 coats of the acrylic. And I just rubbed it lightly with 7000 grit sandpaper. Kind of liking the way it came out. Very nice. Feels very smooth. I think that I like the look of this. 7000 on all the steel, and then polish. This guy, we got to do everything. I'm going to bring this down so it matches, and we have basically the shape and everything like we did before. Go through all the tools and everything, all the steel. We'll start with, it's not too bad, so I think I'll start with like 600 and then go to 1000, just like we did on this guy. And I think that'll be enough, and of course shape this up. So I'll do this and I'll show you the end result on this. Starting to get a more of a mirror polish on them. And it's just elbow grease. Starting to really shine now. Here I'll show you the difference. When it's in the light like this, there you can see it. I've just done from there to there. See the difference? 1000, 7000. And sorry. And there's 7000. I had to take my mask off. Flips. So here we are with this guy, cleaned, handled, and even a badge. Just a plain badge. I sunk it in a little bit. It wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. Here's some interesting that you might want to see. Yeah, you can see the tang stamp. Okay. And I cleaned it up, and number 63, that thing. Basically all it is the Stockman free blade pattern, and good to know. I didn't see that number before because it was so dirty. Actually came out pretty cool. Nice little knife, except
I cannot fix the walk and talk on it. Very sloppy. I think that maybe either the blade tangs or the actual springs are worn, which is a little unfortunate, but hey, I got me another Stockman tiger stripe, and here is of course the electrician's knife, Klein & Sons. Very cool. Another addition to my electrician's knives. Same thing here. The snap is okay. The tool locks in very nice. You can see there, doesn't go anywhere, and you can release it. So very cool. Very happy with these. They're shiny. Now we need to sharpen them. This blade had a lot of little nicks in it, so I'm going to have to clean it first, which means I'm starting with 320, which hopefully will clean up those little nicks. Don't need to do much, just want to get an even grind, an even angle all the way down. I can see there's a nick right there. Huh. It's a pretty bad one. Can still see that nick. Let me get a piece of paper. Very nice. That will work. Now this guy should be able to do that one, but these little blades, I'm actually going to use my workshop bench top because they're just not big enough to go in here and be able to use the sweep. Everybody has their sharpening angle. Mine is whatever works. I like 17-ish. It's a good all-round pocket knife, fixed blade hunter, that sort of type angle. When you get down to 15 or so, you're talking about food prep, chef knives, that sort of thing. Personally, as long as it cuts, I don't care. But 17 seems like a good all-round number for me. I'm not feeling very confident right now. Yeah. It's okay. Let's do these little ones on the workshop. They're actually pretty sharp. Maybe not. So this here is my workshop bench top. They say oil. 1717. Now this doesn't rock, but I can unlock it. And if I do that, it'll rock. It's really important when you have a curved blade because as you go across, it'll follow the blade. Keeps the stone on the edge. But this is flat, but I'll use it anyway. I really struggle with these little blades. Yeah, it's not going to cut really hard. It's sharp,
So there you go, campers. Yeah, long video, sorry. Before we get back to the knives, I want to start doing this, and I need to, you guys, my regular subscribers, I think I have the best ones. Ask me, I'll tell you. You guys are very loyal, consistent in everything about the channel. And I think it's time for me to recognize some of you. And I thought I'd start off with this guy, Terrell. Yep, Texas Terrell. One of the first subscribers to send me a mail call, and it was huge, the first one he sent me. I was shocked and horrified. It was great. I didn't get mail calls. It was probably the second one I got from a subscriber. Not only that, if you look at his picture here, he's a member. He's in the membership program, and you know what? He was the first person to sign up on the membership program. So there you go. Heads up for Terrell. Thank you, my friend. Always have appreciated your support. So there you go. A quick shout out for Terrell. Always appreciate him. And I'm going to do that randomly in videos because I think that you guys really deserve credit. And I appreciate it. Back to the knife. Here is the little Stockman. This is a Camelus. You can see it there. Oh, hopefully. There you are. I like this little knife. I do like this wood. You know, look at that. It's really cool, that whole tiger stripe thing. Very cool. Decided to put this on because I had one. And you know what? It's a handle. It's a regional handle. I'm not worried about it. I just have another Camelus with tiger wood, tiger stripe handle. And you got your pen blade, your sheep's foot, and your clip, pretty typical for stockman. Tried tapping away at the blades and things like that. Couldn't really fix the snap on it. Like I said, the only way you can fix these things is take the whole thing apart. And I didn't really want to do that on this one. I could do the handle with just taking this pin out. So you can see it there. And 3 coats of acrylic is what I used. And I kind of like it. And the longer you leave it, the harder it gets, the smoother it gets. It does a good job. I think it, I think the super glue will give you a harder finish, and you could probably polish it sooner. This I'd let sit for at least a day or 3 before you start polishing and stuff like that. Problem with polish is when you rub, it really heats stuff up, and if this hasn't set all the way, it might get a little soft and you're going to mess it up. So I'd rather wait. But you can see it's shiny right now. So can't complain about that. And then we have this ne'er-do-well. Interesting that this is a Klein & Sons. And you would think, that's not that old. Here you can see it. The typical electrician. Very typical. It has the blade. Well, the tool with the... You can see somebody actually took away the flat on the screwdriver. Why they did that, not sure. I didn't want to mess with that. I'll leave it the way it is. Simply because this is really not a collector anymore. Never was. Well, maybe. But the handle, the original handle was gone, so I replaced it. And you can see that tiger stripe again. Very cool. When I do my handles on my electricians, I make them a little different. Typically, they're flat all the way. I just spread it out here because when you do that and you pull when you cut, you got more grip because it widens out and stays in your hand. That's my theory anyway. It says Klein & Sons Chicago, made in the US of A. I don't know if you can see that. Let me do that. See that? Here it is here. And yep, you can actually date them kind of, sort of. This one would be prior to 1972. In fact, reading up some conversations people had about that particular tang stamp, they didn't make the electrician's knives. They contracted them to Camillus and a lot of other people, you know, like Cutmaster, people like that. This one, they say, with that tang stamp, kind of sort of might have been a TL-29 World War II contract, but they're not 100% sure on that. But it was definitely prior to 1972, because in 1972, Klein & Sons started adding an extra line on their tang stamp. They would have like an A, capital letter, AA, B, BB, C, C, that sort of thing. And that told you, as you went through the years from 72 up now, what year it was that it was made. This doesn't have that, so it's prior to 72. The tang stamp, people say a little bit further back, round about World War II. Very cool info. I love reading up on that stuff. It always interests me. You will be safe out there, especially when doing this stuff. This guy was duller than ever. These guys had been sharpened, so I had to tape them a lot. I didn't really show you. I just showed you the knife, did the up there, because I didn't want to bore you going through everything I did on this thing. And every time I had the blades open, I had to tape them, because I will certainly cut myself. So be aware of that. And don't forget, like, share, subscribe. You know the story. Pretty sure we're going to be back looking at these. Spoiler, there we go. This was a male call, Fisherman. And this one, I finally got a badge for it, an old-timer badge, so I want to do that. You know, I was going through my knives. I'm trying to sort them. I've kind of decided that Camillus is my go-to knives. When I say go-to, that's what I look for. That's what I want to collect. I really like their stuff. And as far as storage, keeping them in my carry cases, the display case, or whatever you want to call them, I didn't want to do it by manufacturer. I did it by knife style, Fisherman, electrician's knife, Barlow, Stockman, that sort of thing. But I've decided I want to put all my Camillus separate, because they're kind of special to me. That's just me. And I'm very proud of myself to say that after saving $1 a month for 30 months, I finally bought this book, which is the Standard Knife Collector's Guide, 4th edition, Ritchie and Stewart. Keith has one, and I looked through it and I thought, this is the book I want. Actually found it on Amazon. It is used. It's in excellent condition. $30. Something I could afford, and it's got all the info I need. And that's something that I want to share with you, the info I found out in here. Interesting. Very interesting. And people say this is a good book. And I was shocked to see some things in it. Boy, have I been confused. Video coming. Maybe. Thanks for watching. Always appreciated. We'll see you again soon.